From the moment she first stepped into a gym as a small child, Dakota felt something in the atmosphere that drew her in almost magnetically. The smell of the mats, a mix of sweat, leather, and liniment, the rhythmic thuds and snaps of pads being struck by older students, and the focused, almost tangible energy of the fighters training around her, all of it formed a world that she naturally gravitated toward, even before she had the words to describe what it was. Long before she understood the techniques, the rules, or the disciplines involved, Dakota instinctively recognized that she had found a place that resonated with her on a level deeper than logic or explanation. She grew up around combat sports the way other children grow up around playgrounds, absorbing the environment without realizing it was shaping her future. While her mother taught classes, Dakota could be found pushing a small doll's pram around the training mats, clinging to her mother's leg for comfort, or curling up beneath tables simply to stay close to the environment that had already begun to feel like a second home. The early years, unremarkable to any outsider, quietly forged the foundation of her instincts. She absorbed the rhythm of training, the sounds of effort, and the intensity of sweat, strain, and focus, almost as if they were part of her natural language. Even though she was far too young to grasp the intricacies of martial arts techniques, she sensed, deep within, the presence of something powerful and transformative in that culture. At the age of 4, she participated in a couple of exhibition matches. These bouts were simple, structured largely for fun and exposure rather than serious competition, but they were enough to plant a seed in her young mind, a seed that, in time, would grow into a calling so compelling that she would dedicate herself to it completely. For a period, Dakota drifted away from the sport, exploring other activities with the innocence and freedom of childhood. She experienced the joys of play, the curiosity of discovering new hobbies, and the liberty of movement unconstrained by any strict regimen. Yet, even in her absence from the gym, the pull of martial arts never fully dissipated. When she reached the age of 12 or 13, something inside her stirred once more. The structure, discipline, and challenge inherent in combat sports called to her in a way that no other activity could. Returning to the gym, Dakota approached her training with a new seriousness. Long hours, fatigue, soreness, and the continual push to improve were no longer burdens. They were milestones on a journey she felt compelled to follow. She devoted herself to learning techniques, sharpening her reflexes, and developing the mindset of a fighter. Years later, after suffering an injury that sidelined her for 18 months, Dakota found herself yearning to return to competition more than ever. The hiatus had not dulled her desire, it had sharpened it. When the opportunity finally arose, she seized it without hesitation. She felt no fear of her opponent, no concern for the stakes, and no anxiety over the pressure that would accompany the fight. What mattered was the raw, unfiltered experience of stepping into the cage again, feeling the reality of competition, the electricity in the air, and the intensity of physical confrontation. Her first encounter back in the cage was against an opponent who attempted to rattle her with pre-fight comments designed to undermine confidence. Dakota remained unshaken. She entered the cage composed, grounded, and grateful simply to be there, embodying a calm and confident presence that belied her age and experience. Though the fight did not unfold exactly as she had imagined in her mind, every moment inside the cage reignited a determination and focus she had long cultivated. She understood, in a visceral way, that this was where she belonged. Her professional MMA debut came against Carrie Isum at Celtic Gladiator 30 on September 12, 2021. From the moment she stepped into the cage, the world witnessed the emergence of something exceptional. Carrie entered the bout with confidence, believing that her preparation and experience would secure an easy victory. Dakota, however, approached the fight with a profoundly different mindset. She was steady, composed, and focused, carrying herself as though she were already an accomplished veteran rather than a debuting professional. When the bell rang, both fighters advanced with intent. Carrie bounced lightly on her toes, seeking openings, while Dakota moved with quiet calculation, her guard up and her gaze locked on her opponent. She exhibited patience and precision, refusing to rush or tense unnecessarily, instead observing, analyzing, and waiting for an opportunity to assert control. The first significant exchange occurred swiftly. Carrie flicked a jab toward Dakota, testing distance and timing. Dakota slipped just off the center line and fired a right hand straight down the middle. It was not a fully committed strike, but it was executed with such crispness and precision that it immediately commanded respect. The crowd responded with an audible surge of energy, sensing that this debuting fighter possessed a level of accuracy and control uncommon for someone at her stage. They circled each other carefully, testing distance, movement, and reactions. Carrie attempted a looping overhand right, but Dakota anticipated it, leaned back, and countered with a compact combination followed by a precise low kick that cracked audibly against Carrie's leg. The impact echoed through the venue, signaling the shift in momentum. From that point, Dakota began building pressure. With each jab, she doubled up, walking Carrie backward without overextending herself. When Carrie tried to retaliate, Dakota angled off with fluidity, making her miss before snapping in her own counters. By the midpoint of the round, Carrie's frustration had become visible. Dakota had landed clean, straight punches, precise body shots, and repeated leg strikes, forcing Carrie to adjust her stance constantly. Each time Carrie attempted to reset, Dakota forced her back into discomfort, demonstrating an early mastery of controlling pace and space. With only a minute remaining in the round, Dakota increased her aggression. A right hand landed cleanly, followed by a left hook that sent Carrie stumbling toward the cage. Dakota unleashed a flurry of punches and a punishing knee to the body. Carrie attempted to clinch, but Dakota disengaged instantly and continued her assault with relentless efficiency. 11 seconds remained when the referee stepped in to stop the fight at 4:49 of the first round, marking a dominant debut and signaling the rise of a fighter to watch. Dakota's next fight came against Jenny Line at Cage Steel 25 in Doncaster on April 10, 2021, another pivotal moment in her early career. Both athletes were making their professional debuts, creating an electric atmosphere of anticipation. Jenny initially employed movement and jabs to control distance and disrupt Dakota's rhythm. For the first 30 seconds, she succeeded in keeping Dakota just out of range. But Dakota's patience and analytical approach allowed her to observe, adjust, and identify opportunities. When she saw the opening, she acted decisively. A clean leg kick forced Jenny to alter her stance, followed immediately by a right hand that struck the chin with precision, dramatically shifting the momentum. Dakota pressed forward, cutting off escape paths and using feints to provoke mistakes. A left hook grazed Jenny, followed by a knee to the body that visibly affected her opponent. Dakota continued to advance, delivering hooks, straight punches, and crisp combinations that drove Jenny backward, ultimately pinning her against the cage. The referee observed carefully, stepping in when it became clear that Jenny was no longer defending effectively. Dakota was awarded another first-round TKO, affirming her growing reputation as a fighter who combined composure, accuracy, and controlled aggression. Another critical milestone occurred during Dakota's bout against Simone Silva at PAWFC 1 in Calgary, Alberta, on January 15, 2022. This fight marked Dakota's introduction to an international stage. While she had earned respect on the UK regional circuit, this event offered exposure to a broader audience and higher caliber competition. Simone arrived confident, prepared to test Dakota's limits. From the opening bell, however, Dakota demonstrated dominance. Her movement in a fluid Muay Thai stance allowed her to land quick jabs and powerful leg kicks with consistent precision. Simone attempted to impose her own combinations, but Dakota's speed and defensive awareness made her exceptionally difficult to hit cleanly. After softening Simone with striking, Dakota transitioned to the ground with remarkable fluidity. Securing top position, she controlled her opponent, preventing escapes while delivering a sustained barrage of ground and pound. Early in the second round, the referee intervened, awarding Dakota a TKO victory. This fight showcased her evolution into a well-rounded mixed martial artist capable of imposing her will both standing and on the ground. Through each bout, Dakota's journey reflected more than athletic talent. It was a testament to passion, perseverance, and the cultivation of a focused mindset. Her calm resolve in the cage, balanced by a visible respect for the sport's rigor, set her apart. What distinguished Dakota was not merely technical skill but her mental fortitude. She fought with the confidence of someone destined to succeed while maintaining the humility to appreciate every opportunity, every fight, and every challenge. Her story resonated because it exemplified how sustained dedication and disciplined practice could transform raw potential into tangible achievement. From pushing doll prams around a gym as a child to delivering decisive victories on an international stage, Dakota embodied the principle that greatness is forged through persistent effort, unwavering focus, and the courage to confront fear directly. As she continued to amass victories, Dakota refined her technique, honed her instincts, and deepened her strategic understanding of the sport. Opponents entered the cage expecting a challenge but often underestimated the breadth of her skill set. Her rise reflected not just physical capability but a mindset that embraced pressure, learned from setbacks, and relentlessly sought improvement. In moments where others might feel nerves, Dakota found clarity. Where others hesitated, she committed fully. Her composure mirrored the discipline evident in her training. Every movement carried purpose, every strike was intentional, and every moment in the cage contributed to her evolution as a complete fighter. With growing recognition, Dakota became known not only for her striking power but also for her respect for the craft. She immersed herself in training, studied her opponents meticulously, and approached each fight strategically. Coaches lauded her openness to feedback and her ability to implement adjustments quickly. Her dedication extended beyond the physical. She understood the psychological demands of fighting, the emotional intensity of preparation, and the importance of remaining grounded amidst rising fame. What makes Dakota's story compelling is her authenticity. There is no pretense, no inflated ego, only a deep love for the sport. Every time she enters the cage, she brings intensity in her heart, patience in her mind, and determination in her actions. Her performances resonate with fans because they demonstrate not just physical prowess but courage, discipline, and the triumph of personal challenge over fear and doubt. Looking ahead, Dakota's future remains luminous. Her undefeated streak signals only the beginning of a career poised for extraordinary achievement. She continues to train with tireless dedication, constantly refining her craft and expanding her skill set. Fans eagerly anticipate each fight, knowing that when Dakota steps into the cage, something remarkable is likely to occur. Her journey underscores the principle that passion, when combined with discipline, can cultivate a champion. In facing formidable opponents or silencing skeptics, Dakota exemplifies the commitment required to excel in a challenging, unforgiving sport. As the years unfold, she will encounter obstacles, but her resilience, focus, and mental strength indicate that she can overcome whatever stands in her path. In contemplating what the next 16 years may hold, Dakota's unwavering spirit assures that she is ready for every challenge. She approaches her career with a sense of purpose, gratitude, and readiness to engage with every opportunity, every fight, and every moment as integral parts of a greater journey toward mastery and personal fulfillment.